其实我跟任何人对线都是不虚的，因为我觉得只有我自己会把我自己搞崩，没有人可以把我打崩。
I mean, to be fair, he was the guy that was running into those bindings face first, so technically he did beat himself.
Hey, there we go. Okay, it makes sense. All right, I was just trying to figure out what he was trying to say there. Well, yeah, I guess it came true in the end. Either way, we're coming into our third and final game here. We're calling into Beijing for Invictus Gaming and Royal Never Give Up. Now, this come down to the wire. Invictus Gaming shockingly came out of the gate swinging hard up against Invictus. We're coming to this final game with no subs. So it's going to be Duke in the top lane still. The Shy is still remains to be seen, even though he is with the team right now. And this is all going to come down to these two lineups.
And we just have to, frankly, clear the air. Like, if the Shy was injured, so we have to assume that he hasn't been playing League of Legends while he's injured. So it makes sense that you would stick with Duke. You've been spending the majority of your offseason, the first 2 to 3 weeks of the LPL playing exclusively with Duke while waiting for the Shy to actually heal up. So what I suspect is happening is that he had an injured hand, he hasn't been playing, he's probably very rusty and trying to retrain himself to take the reins. And if you're not losing with Duke, you know, why risk it?
Sure. I mean, right there we just saw them lose with Duke actually quite spectacularly because it was a Vayne against him in the top lane. So again, still not putting him in there into the top lane, but yes, I mean Duke has been actually stepping up this last week. I would say that specifically watching that Darius play, pulling the Talia off of the wall, I was like, okay Duke, alright, I see you. And he has been playing better, but it seems like RNG right here, like the gauntlet was thrown, everyone's feeling hyphy, but then RNG were like, no, we're still composed, we know what we're doing, and then they finally put the Vayne back into the top lane.
Again, I'm not necessarily on the same board that Clement is when it comes to the gold funneling strategy. I see the perks there, and I understand that, you know, globally it's really being exploited, but again, it's only if you play it perfectly, because if you just have one member responsible, if that one member makes any sort of mistake, and RNG did on Uzi of all people, like you would think a gold funneling strategy with the best ADC on the world on an ADC would actually be able to execute on that, and they were unable to do it, and that's where I find a lot of problems with that type of playstyle, which is why I prefer that you have security nets by having multiple carry threats.
Yeah, I feel the same, right? I mean, we obviously saw the downfall of the gold funnel composition, even with the best AD carry in the world in game one. It's just like, well, if you have a composition ready to, take it down with the Camille and the Galio, then it doesn't really matter who you are. You can have the greatest mechanics ever in the history of League of Legends, but you're still dead because it's about the combos right now. Mechanics count, but if you have the composition in place, they will kill you.
Can we get some cable management back there? It kind of looks like a tripping hazard, and this this cage
clips.
match already has a lot of lips and dips and tips that I'm terrified that a player is going to fall over.
Yeah, just gotta make it a little bit harder for them. You know, these are two of the titans of the LPL, the strongest in the league, so why not just make it interesting? Why not just put some tripwires in there?
The first team to actually take their seats safely automatically wins the series, boys.
Well, both teams seem like they're in high spirits heading into this third and final game. I would like to see another Draven, I would like to see another Vayne, but in all honesty, I want to see Invictus Gaming just do what they are strong with.
I do want to take a moment to talk about the coaching staff behind both these teams. So, Coach Hart, formerly of Samsung Blue, of course, is the standing on-stage coach for RNG, but behind them they have Kesman. Now, what's interesting about Kesman is that he used to work with Firefox, who's the general manager for RNG, for a team called IMA, now Billy Gaming. Now, Billy Gaming are known for their ability to come back from late game just catastrophes and win with these massive 5v5 fights. Now, what does that sound familiar to? Maybe how RNG won MSI, especially against Fnatic, falling down early every single time. So I had a lot of questions about what type of fingerprint Kesman would leave on the RNG roster, and it seems to be that this team is just unshakable, that their morale and their momentum, it doesn't matter. They can fall back, but you look at the players, I mean, maybe not Xiaohu, but Carson was just all smiles. That this team is unbreakable, whereas before, that used to be the primary problem with someone like Uzi. He had a fairly weak mentality. He would let the haze blind him.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there.
Oh, hi. How you going?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he would fall down. But with the addition of Kesman, with the addition and change-up of coaching staff, it feels like RNG have climbed to newer heights.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because Uzi said it himself. I mean, you spoke to Uzi, right? And it's just like his mental is, you know,
like
definitely, you know, obviously not super strong. And also that affects the people around him, right? It's more the fact that Uzi now is much more composed. And then with the rest of his team, you've got someone like Ming who can be a shot caller, someone who can keep the team together, and you go into a game 3 like this, the third and final game, where the team is like, okay, what do we need to do next? Stay calm, stay composed, and then let's just clean this game out.
And then on the other side, you have Invictus Gaming, who obviously know that there was a problem, especially when it came to composure and mental fortitude. Losing the Shy, yes, you just lost out on your straight star talent, but Rookie went through a mental boom, as did Jackie Love after that semifinal, and then as well in the 4th place match against Rogue Warriors. Like, from 40-11 as your scoreline to ending 4th place was ridiculous fall from grace for Invictus Gaming.
Yep.
So, you know, can they, under these high pressure situations, fix this mental aspect of their game to climb to the greatness that RNG have acquired?
I mean, that's just the million-dollar question, isn't it? If we could answer that, then we'd be golden.
Quick, let me check the prize rate for the LPL Championship, because that's exactly what that question is worth.
Yeah, sure. At the same time, I think the biggest thing, talking about that moment once more, was the fact that Jackie Love was the one coming in as the emotional support for Rookie. Remember, this kid is 17. He literally just came, like, as soon as he was of age, it was like, bam, this is the prodigy, put him into the team, ship it, they are now the chosen ones. But he was the guy being the emotional rock right there, and that says a lot about a person, you know, at that age where he's able to be that for the team. Impressive stuff.
Yeah, huge props to Jackie Love. I know a lot of people will again give him so much criticism, but like you were saying, you know, Rookie was face down, had been playing like 18 solo queue games a day when they lost the Shy, just trying to hard carry, and ultimately failed himself. Xiaohu absolutely spanked him in that matchup, and Jackie Love stood next to him, grabbed his captain's jacket, rubbed his back, and said, "It's okay."
Yep. Hopefully no more spanking today, but Xiaohu is back into that mid lane. Invictus Gaming will take away the Rakan, the Kai'Sa, and the Shen on the opposite side. RNG will remove Talia, Swain, and Camille. It's going to be first pick of the Nocturne to Ning.
And I feel like we're going to see a lot more standardized. I don't want to see any more of the gold funneling. I just want to see more of the standard 8-11 play that we've seen from both these teams. This is a Nocturne priority pick. Now, without the Shen, it's usually the combo that we see Shen into Nocturne, your ability to assault and attack pretty much every single side lane simultaneously. They still have a lot of dueling potential. That's going to be an Ashe. That is going to be the Ashe Tahm Kench.
If the Tahm Kench is locked in, you can bet your top dollar it's probably going to be the Ashe, yeah.
Or it could try to force Invictus Gaming to pick up the Ashe to deny it from Uzi, and then they feel that they have something in the back pocket to counter.
The bait and switch. Or they might just lock in the Yasuo right here. Maybe they're just basing it as like, hey Jack, look, think about the Tahm Kench, think about the Ashe, think about the Yasuo. Now what are you going to do?
Also have to deny it. We know that Jackie Love has played the Yasuo on the bot lane. RNG have made it their strategy this game to deny a lot of bruisers down there, the Swain being banned after it was priority picked by IG in game number 1. So with switching to the Trundle, that Yasuo is available.
What is this mind game coming out from RNG? They are in the Trundle that right there, as you said. Braum is insta-locked from Invictus Gaming.
Oh, I hope it's not mid lane.
Ooh, no, it's Aatrox, but it could be mid lane. We've seen that, of course, out from Doinby.
I mean the Braum.
Oh, yeah, sure. That makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense because then you get the experience funnel onto Nocturne and try to hit level 6 faster.
Yeah, get the tempo.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, Zoe coming in for Xiaohu right there. That's going to be fun to watch.
Also then makes Ashe a higher priority, but it also now we understand why the Tahm Kench is there. It's not necessarily the Tahm Kench Ashe combo, it's grabbing TK so you can deny him from being picked up when you reveal the Zoe. Because if you reveal the Zoe first, he's instantly going to be snatched because of how defensive he is against pick-based champions. They get hit by Sleepy Bubba, you just gobble them up.
Yep. But now, no longer. You're just going to go to sleep and stay asleep forever. Invictus Gaming will take away the Mundo. RNG will remove the Gano from Rookie again, starting game 1 and no longer. Bans in game 2 and game 3. RNG looking towards their final ban as well. Will it be a Jackie Love ban? Or are they just going to say, come at us with the Yasuo? We're just going to ban the LeBlanc instead from Rookie.
Frankly, when you have Uzi, I don't even think you need to waste bans on Jackie Love.
Fair.
Leave it all open. Your AD carry has the deeper effective champion pool and meet him in the lane phase.
You're not wrong. Jack's going to be the ban away here, and you know, a pick that I haven't seen in a while in this series is Aurelia. I mean, Aurelia has been open, but just not really picked by the teams. I
feel like the counters to Aurelia have been figured out in terms of things like the Darius. I know that there's been some other experimentations like Poppy perhaps in the mid lane to try to deal with it, so I think it's not as blind pickable as in scrims things have been evolving.
Charlotte the Monolith. Malphite coming through, and seen that 2 times so far in the split, but again, massive sample size of 2, I believe, so far. 100% win rate. So let's see if we can keep it going, shall we? Because the Vayne is also now 2 for 2.
Ship it, boys. It's absolutely viable, and what it gives their composition is a good way to say, we're going right this second. And so if Jackie Love locks Varus, you better be fast fingers on that flash.
Surely not. Yeah, RNG though, there's a chance for them to go for the Yasuo, or it's baiting Invictus Gaming saying pick Yasuo, or we're going to pick it with the Malphite, shove it into the bottom lane here. because that is just instant access to the last breath.
I have a feeling, though, because there's Tahm Kench, that it would have to go up into the top lane.
Which, the Malphite?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. I didn't follow. Sorry,
right.
I was looking at the Lucian. I was like, what? Haven't we picked the Lucian
Hello?
yet?
Yeah, Invictus Gaming. There's the Syndra. Hello, hello. There'll also be a Lucian into the bottom lane there for Jackie Love.
So the first thing that I want people to hone in on for Invictus Gaming's composition is Syndra and Nocturne. As soon as that power combo is level 6, they're going to walk in anywhere and just absolutely obliterate you. It has to be one of the strongest level 6 power spikes imaginable in terms of its assassination. That said, you are against a Trundle Zoe who have so much more access to killing you pre-level 6, levels 1 through 5, if Karsa really wants to shift that type of matchup and give mid lane early attention.
And it was the Ashe in the end for the Tahm Kench, so it came full circle. We're still going to get that matchup for RNG, and it will be the Malphite into top lane with Zoe into the mid. On the opposite side, as you said, the assassination potential from Rookie and Ning is going to be big in this one. I just think back to, you know, the old Lysandra Grays when it's like you're hitting with the mixed damage. It's very similar in the mid lane right here as well. So yeah, it doesn't matter who you are, what you're itemizing, you're still going to be pretty dead at 6.
I feel like this entire series will come down to the 2v2 mid jungle and not necessarily the ADCs, but I will say that RNG have a very strong advantage having the Ashe down there. They basically pick the Ashe Tahm Kench because they feel that they can get the push priority even on a champion combo like Lucian Braum who have so much kill threat. So it's push priority versus kill priority and what's going to win out there. And that pivot point will make access into the mid lane that much easier for the junglers. If you have control bottom, you can place Deep Vision down into the jungle, track him, and then make sure that you get the priority gank on mid lane to open the entire map.
Alright, so that's what they do, but Frosk, I want to hear, like, which one's your favorite? Which, if you had to pick
Zoe
a comp...
Trundle.
Zoe Trundle?
Yeah.
That's where it's at?
It's really ridiculous because you walk into the lane and you just trundle behind them. If the
Yep.
Sleepy Bubble ever hits, Zoe's damage is still ridiculous. Whereas I feel like Nocturne and Syndra, yes, it's terrifying at level 6, but you do need to get there. Now,
Yeah.
it's easy to get there, especially when you have a Braum Lucian. You should have so much control to just protect Ning, and then you throw on the Aatrox on top of it. But if any of those systems fail, there is a very large window for RNG to just try to sucker punch Invictus Gaming.
Oh, for sure. I feel like Malphite's going to be at the forefront of that. He's going to be the tip of the spear to be the sucker punch. He's kind of a knuckle duster, I guess, on that punch, because it's going to be hitting Jackie Love square in the face unless he can dodge away from that one.
Here we go. Couldn't have scripted it any better. Game 3 between RNG and Invictus Gaming, the undefeated Invictus Gaming versus the Kings and our MSI champions.
In a minute. Gotcha. The bait and switch.
The camera guy's really having a good time with me right now.
It might just be a small issue on stage, just getting into game right here. So I'm going to just wait for a
They're
hot
waiting
second.
for the Undertaker to come crouching 16 feet down
Yeah.
through the table.
That would be funny if that happened, but yeah, crowd at the edge of their seats right now. Third and final game, Invictus Gaming in the home arena of Royal Never Give Up here.
So this is why I was criticizing the cable
throne room.
management. Clearly, we're having some issues there. We got to keep our
Hey,
cables
yeah.
out.
Maybe someone stepped on something they shouldn't have.
I blame Uzi.
That's gotta be easy, man. With huge fan support in the stadium. Remember, these new stadiums that have been built this year, or this split even, Xi'an and Beijing, 700 and 1,000 capacities. That's a lot of people. Shanghai is 500 and that's big.
The NALCS, I believe, is 350. So for some context there, we have the biggest arenas in the world. Our most recent final held in the Chengdu Magic Box, I believe, was 17,000 strong.
Yep.
It wasn't Uzi, it was Ning. This explains why he keeps dying over Raptors.
Yeah. It was my PC. It wasn't me. My PC made the poor decision making.
My favorite thing is when someone just clearly makes a terrible decision, dies, and then immediately goes lag. I'm like, yeah, brain lag.
Still technically true. No updates for you guys, unfortunately. We're still just waiting to hear from QC and the refs on stage right now. And it's a little bit unfortunate because I think by the rules, the players can't talk to each other, so they're just going to have to go into some meditation right here.
We can talk a little bit about Karsa on our screen right now.
Yeah,
It was
sure.
interesting, you know, coming into his first split in the LPL, he wins not only 2 title championships, so now holds the LMS as well as the LPL, but his first international title, taking home MSI, and then he's the guy who actually walks the championship cup back into the LPL battle arena here in Shanghai. So, I mean, it's just huge accolades for Karsa, who has gone I mean, his praises have been sung for so long, but he's never really been rewarded on the international stage for the caliber of player that he is.
I mean, a lot of people were saying, well, he's the only player here, but it's like, no, Xiaohu was also in Shanghai. Like, it could have been Xiaohu, because it's Xiaohu, you know? But the fact it went to Casa says a lot about RNG and really about their legacy as a team. What flavor do you reckon Uzi's bubblegum is? Because I see him just like chewing all the time.
He's a solid juicy fruit, dude.
Juicy fruit?
Yep.
I feel like we need to ask him at some point. Because he was chewing at the when he won domestically back in spring. And it came flying out of his mouth as he cheered.
So this starts out as a sad story, but I promise it gets better.
Okay.
I was once at a funeral.
All right.
That's sad. But my cousin sitting next to me was like rummaging around in her purse, and she pulls out some gum. And she asks me if I would like some juicy fruit. To which then I say, hello, we're at a funeral. What? And her response is, there is never a bad time for juicy fruit. I pissed myself laughing. Everyone thought it was inappropriate, but I ate the gum and it was delicious, and there is never a bad time for juicy fruit. Hey,
there you go. So Uzi, if it works for you, just keep on doing. And the funny thing is, like, it's funny to talk about, but also Duke, he was Duke Nukem, right? He was the guy. Yeah, he's got his own bubblegum, you know? Like, he was back in 2017 when I first came onto the LPL broadcast, and I was just watching this guy chew bubblegum and take some names, and then he ran all up bubblegum, and then he started feeding. But during that time, he was an absolute badass. I remember the Gangplank games, he was destroying every top lane in front of him, and he was not breaking a single sweat. So for now, it just says a lot, because everyone remembered Dukes from the glory days, you know? Back when he was in Korea. But in recent days, it really is a fall from grace.
Yeah, I've been fairly unimpressed with Duke. When he first came over into the LPL, one of his signatures was that it seemed like there wasn't a communication issue, that he was still having great teleport control with the team, and the synergy was very high. But recently, it feels like his synergy has fallen off. His lane mechanics have never been that impressive in his LPL career. And so it just kind of, you're sacrificing a little bit too much, and you never really got to see the SKT Duke that everyone wanted to see, which is why it was such a breath of fresh air for someone like the Shy to come in, especially when the LPL top lane talent pool was so weak for so long.
Now, I know that the LCK just ended, so welcome to any viewers who have just come over to catch the ends of RNG and Invictus gaming. Now, we are in just a quick pause at the start of the game. Nothing's happened yet, so you haven't missed anything. It's just a small peripheral issue on stage for Ning. So just trying to swap out a mouse or a keyboard, I believe. I don't have the exact knowledge on that, but it is a peripheral issue. So that should just be a quick swap in and swap out. So
I mean, frankly, if you're coming in now, this would be the best time to funnel in, because you are at the climax of this Game of Thrones.
1-1. A lot of people thought it was going to be a 2-0 here today, and Invictus take game one. Completely demolished RNG in that first game. Of course, RNG fire back in that second game, but it comes down to this in this third and final game. And it's tough. I mean, this has been a long day for these guys, and it's also hot in China right now. It is very, very hot. It is also very, I was going to say another word, humid right now.
Moist?
That was the word I was going to go for, but I don't know if I wanted to commit. But that's why I've got you, Frosk. You'll go in places that I will not delve.
Moist ones.
No.
But we don't have napkins from Uzi over his ears.
Oh, man. Yes, but I also think it runs in the ADC family. Because who was it? It was Abel, and he brought his hair up with his headset, brought it back down because he was laughing about it, and then his coach comes over and it does it there for him again. Yeah, so something about it, man. I mean, those ADCs are good at what they do. Maybe there's something to it.
Just needed to be able to see the entire battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, for Uzi, it's hearing. It's like, you know, the three monkeys, right? Like, one needs to be able to hear, one needs to be able to see.
So who's the one who can't speak? Y4.
Y4.
Just shipped him away.
Yeah. Maybe.
Over there on LGD.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, won a game earlier today.
They did. BLG continuing to slip.
Yeah,
unfortunate.
I'm going to be changing my tips for week 3 for certain.
Yeah, we just talked about how Kesman, you know, very clearly leaving his fingerprint on RNG. Maybe BLG starting to feel some of those growing pains.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, Xiaohu looking dapper. Always love the fact, I mean, in the LPL, we have massive fan clubs for the teams, all being led. When you hear the crowd chants as well, often led by the fan clubs themselves. Also, in most arenas, they split themselves right down the middle, especially for these big games. You'll hear it from one side and the other.
We also have these things called open days. Now, what happens on open days is that a lot of the times the fan clubs will organize where the tickets will go out to fans that are spread out across China. They'll get to fly in and come watch the teams in the arena, and they team up with the fan clubs to sit with the fan clubs, to do the cheer, to go through events, and then either before or after the games on one of the days where the team isn't playing, the team will open up their clubhouse and invite fans and audience players into the clubhouse to share their stories. Open Day is much more about how we connect as a community through League of Legends instead of just, you know, meeting up with your favorite professional players. So I believe Team WE's Open Day was just a few weeks ago, and they have, you know, old retired players like Salme come in and talk about, you know, getting married, having his child, so talking about his wife and just what League of Legends meant to him back in the days of World Elite. And then fans come up, they talk about how, you know, I used to play League of Legends when I was coming up through school, and it's how I met my good friends, and it's just this really cool experience where fans get hands-on time with the professional players and really just learn their personal stories about, you know, why we're all League players at the core of it. And it's not just about, you know, cheering for your team and having to lift the trophy. And then they all eat cake and have tea. It's great. It's
a great time. It's actually, we went to visit WE last year for that Open Day, in fact. It was a great experience. For people at home, oh, okay. Well, I just heard in my ear 3 to 5 minutes out from the refs. Well, I've just been pleasantly surprised because it was more like 20 seconds. So here we go. We're into game. Audience been a little bit surprised, so the chants are a little bit off there, but I'm going to give it back over to you.
Huh?
Oh, okay.
RNG went first.
Yes, they did. There's an order to these things. Here we go. We're into game for our third and final game now between Invictus Gaming and RNG in RNG's home arena, in the Palace, in the Throne Room. And Invictus Gaming drafting something a little bit more conventional this time around, and RNG doing the same. So really we'll just be down to who is better on the day.
Yeah, and it's this. It comes down to the wire between these two teams in spring. It was 1-1 in the regular split, and then a single game. It went to all 5 in our semifinals in the LPL playoffs. So it is just micro differences between their skill, and of course it would come down to game 3 as a trap may be set here.
Or maybe just a volley. And a lick.
I think he missed the lick.
Yeah, he did. We didn't talk about that, though. But if you have just joined us, this is Invictus Gaming looking very good. I mean, the fan vote hasn't changed, but they have looked very good throughout this series because it was expected by many people to be that 2-0. But here we stand at the third and final game, and Jack have started to regain control over this lane.
And again, it's about the idea of push priority versus kill priority over the lane phase. Braum and Lucian still one of the most devastating combos, although closer to the level 2, level 3, because naturally you want to make use of the double tap passive from Lucian coming through, as well as the Braum passive, the Winter's Bite, as well. Versus Ashe, who just wants to get a bunch of points into that volley and continuously shove the lane forward and chip away at you, so you can't all in because you don't have the health.
Hello, Ning. How are you going? It's going to be the initial hawk shot coming through, and so spotting Ning on his early clear. So one of the nice things that Ashe brings you in terms of utility in the first clear there. So going to have complete control and knowledge. So Karsa can do with that what he will.
And I do want to really focus in on the fact that it's Karsa getting that information. We saw at MSI, Karsa was so confident walking into Peanut's jungle, but hold on, walking top lane now.
Duke's got the blood well. He gets knocked away. Good pillar coming in from Karsa. Early flash, and they'll be very happy with this one.
Exactly, and it means that it can be just a repeat gank for Karsa. But again, at MSI, Karsa was so good about walking into Peanut's jungle, acquiring information, and then basically allowing his laners to free farm and find the advantages that eventually overwhelmed King's Own. So the fact that it's Ashe, the fact that he can track the Nocturne is so devastating for a player like Karsa.
Ning getting full combo and actually knocks Nocturne towards him, but Xiaohu, nice little dodge out there, but here comes Rookie in from the mid lane. Throws out the paddle star, jumps around, dodging, dipping, diving, finding the kill. Xiaohu with first blood.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball, and Ning got neither. So finally Xiaohu shows up and says, hey, you know, my lane phase might not be great, but at least I can tag team with Karsa and get it done in the jungle.
Really feeling that dodgeball reference for us. Mid lane again, just being a bit of an annoyance here. Karsa and RNG starting strong. Let's see how all that one kicked off once again. And it was Ning trying to initiate on top of Karsa, but on the wrong side.
And again, it was the information, but the also instant response from Xiaohu now. Xiaohu, of course, had access to the GPL, so what is it? No, GLP. So found the slow there as well as he flashed over. Yeah, that was my facial reaction too.
Same. Good stuff. That's going to be first blood into the mid lane as well. Going to be fantastic for a Zoe. And you were just talking about the fact that Chunlo on Zoe pre-6 is going to be a threat for them. You know, obviously Ning and Rookie going to be strong when they hit 6, but hey, that's the strength when you actually have kill threat this early on.
And then it's that important that Nocturne has been knocked down a peg, that he's on the back foot. It's a champion that really needs to scale up into level 6, and while Nocturne has been so successful globally, I personally haven't really seen it work out in the LPL. You know, we saw Swift playing it early on today, and yes, we do have good Nocturne players and strong junglers, but for whatever reason, just feel like things go so sideways when we have a Nocturne in the game, and he's not protected.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It doesn't feel like that should be the case. Uzi, not going to be the full concussive blows right there. Jacula, one more tap, there you go. Get the stun down, but Guardian comes up anyways to mitigate that damage. And you're right, it feels like Nocturne doesn't have the full success that we've seen in other regions, because with like high tempo jungler, hits level 6, funnel him early, get those ganks down, but it seems like he always gets killed or shut down before he gets to that point.
Before we get to that point though, I do just want to take a second. It just, Uzi's and Ming's lane phase, the fact that they gave the free Braum passive and then timed it with the Guardian come up to absorb a lot of it, like, what?
Yeah, they're good. It's just insane synergy, and this comes from hours and hours and hours of training together.
I've talked to a lot of, like I said, I talked to Uzi for an hour. Clement also got to talk to Tabe. We collected a lot of information when we were doing the interviews with him, and there's this idea that Uzi is just, he's so controlling in the lane phase. He really is a mastermind. And while Ning does get a lot of credit and has really blossomed into such a powerful support, you have to understand that there's a reason why the supports next to Uzi look amazing. This guy is just a god to lane with.
He really is. I mean, I'm the only one calling him it currently, but I hope it sticks, because he really is a paladin. You know, he's an absolute badass. Comes in with the big sword, the big shield, and he not only makes plays, but he's always there in front of his carry to defend. He says it himself, you know, you will not touch my AD carry. And Tamketch really just embodies that. Like right now, look at him. He's just throwing up the tongues, hitting constantly into this bottom lane and pressuring back Invictus Gaming. And this is the matchup we wanted to see. The AD carries going toe-to-toe, and RNG are bodying them.
And it was just the question of who was going to break first. Was it going to be Braum Lucian, who had the possible kill threat or a window to look for the kill threat, or was Ashe going to be able to layer enough chip damage to make sure that Lucian and Braum never had the window to look for the all-in, and then how that impacts the jungle matchup, especially when Xiaohu's playing like this. He knows that Rookie doesn't have a lot of mana. Yep. He's trying to get cute, trying to get cheeky, using
come on, are you kidding me?
Zoe's passive. But this is eventually going to leak over into Ning's jungle, and this Nocturne could potentially fall further and further behind the race to 6.
It is every mid laner's worst nightmare when the enemy... Yeah, he's holding the wave here, looking for the freeze. When Zoe just happens to pick a random redemption lane.
That could really punish them. We see this all the time when ADCs choose to hold lane there. A lot of the time they'll just get dove, which is why I feel it's so important. Like, naturally Battleland was going to ward here anyway because he made his back. He'll have access to the control wards, and he wants to create the security net for Ning. But so many times, AD carries hold waves here, the wave gets super built up, and then the enemy team's just like, okay, if you're going to hold it, we'll wait until 3 waves stack and then just dive your tower and kill you.
Yep. Kinda denied. Got him. So there's a bot lane fact for Froskia, and I've got a mid lane fact for you for the Zoe matchup. If you randomly happen to get a redemption at level 1 on first wave, then on the next wave you can instantly redemption, because redemption actually has a flat amount of true damage that it does to minions, meaning you can essentially just set up the wave, one-shot it, and then all in your opponent and then win lane from there. That's why mid laners hate it.
I just hate Zoe.
Yeah, I mean it's also that, but I mean that's just the RNG factor that comes into play sometimes.
Super fun. I feel like when the Super Soaker, oh no, the hose got buffed, it really only buffs Zoe, but hold on.
Uh-oh. Rookie bounced back, doesn't really want to use summons, but may have to. Flash forwards, in to the perfect timing. Last one's going to be burnt. Rookie flashes away, but he's being chased down. Sparkle's flying forwards, there's the flash coming through from Xiaohu, and the Tiger jumps away.
The empowered auto attack after using your R, a lot of players really forget how much damage it does. What, more sparkles I believe it's called, so Xiaohu really relying on that. And now also has access to Zhonya's.
Wonderful. And now Ghost.
I hate this champion.
So obnoxious. Ooh, took a Dustbringer right there. Ning has the flash and was like, uh-oh, I've got Umbra Blades. This is a potential kill. No, I'm out, bye-bye. So yeah, we get the wave push and the kill onto Rookie. That's going to be good for now. And we'll see it in all its glory once again.
And this is what I was talking about. It's not levels 1 through 5, but it's this window where Zoe and Trundle are so good at ganking for each other because you have so many layered CCs. So that was unfortunate for Ning.
Yes, it was. But that's not what they want, because now they have hit level 6, and they're the ones who want to be making the aggressive play. Get the stun down into Zoe, follow the paranoia, hit with the unleashed power, and theoretically, that's a dead Trickster. But unfortunately, it's actually Karsu who's getting the better of them in these trades. He's there first, he's setting up these ganks, and now he's found him again. He's actually chasing down Rookie for a third time. Here comes the arrow across from the side, and Rookie, I mean, there's nowhere to go. Here comes Uzi as well. Give me that assist, and Karsu finds the kill.
Karsu with information. This guy is so devastating. It's why he's what I think is the best jungler in the LPL right now. Since coming back from MSI, he has just been on fire and just tracking Rookie at every single turn. But it's a team effort between the Hawkshot, between Larry and the Vision. But if you give it to Karsu, he will make plays happen for you.
It's absolutely disastrous. Duke in the top lane looking for a bit of an all-in right here onto Letme. But Letme's gone first burst. That means he has bombies. He has his he now got his boots actually in this chase down. Yeah, I mean, good luck Aatrox. You're going to have to hit multiple items now to chunk through that Malphite. He's going to be a literal brick wall in front of him. And yeah, it's not top lane you're going to be winning through. Mid lane's getting blasted, and bot lane is being pressured by Uzi and Ming.
And we said that this would come down to mid jungle, and then that would be the hinge on which this entire game would swing. So Xiaohu, like you're saying, sitting 2-0, fat and happy right now. They're starting to clear out Vision behind the Dragon Pit. It is an Infernal. I believe they're sitting on a control ward right now. Only have to clear that one try, and it's kind of this question of where is the breaking point going to be for RNG? Because all they need to do now is move Xiaohu around and then just take whatever they want when they're ready to do so. So I'm looking at Blade of the Rune King for Uzi. I have a feeling as soon as that's completed, it's going to be the green light to say, okay, break the lane phase, unlock this arrow, you know, we're going to start throwing out all of our spells, our Zoe and our Ashe, and see what we get and snowball the game.
Make it happen. And really be the aggressors in this series, you know, because before it was RNG in Game 1, they were definitely winding up the punch, and before they could actually throw it, Invictus came and just shot them in the head, and Game 1 was over. This time they're actually being proactive. They have a trapper in the mid lane, Zoe to lock people down, and as you said, hit those item spikes, make a play happen. Rookie with the sidestep.
Rookie does have the opportunity, though, that if he times that well and he feels confident, he could try to step up, find the stun on Xiaohu. You can see that Brahms actually sitting in Fog of War behind him and Nocturne sitting on top of the lane, because the game plan here is hit the Syndra stun and then press R with 2 champions, and Zoe will pop like a balloon. But it's pretty clear that Xiaohu understands that he's the giant target and is just playing way back in the lane.
And if Xiaohu gets another kill, he'll pop like a pinata. That guy will be a takedown for him. Into the top lane at point blank, unstoppable force. Duke instantly goes down into his passive, and Karsu is here to follow Duke. I mean, there's no point flashing at this point. Another kill to Royal.
And it's just too easy, but misplayed cross-map communication there from Invictus Gaming, not keeping track of where Karsu could possibly be. You always have to suspect that type of gank path into the top lane, especially with a Malphite who is that type of hard CC. So I feel like the bigger issue is that Invictus Gaming just don't know where Karsu is.
Yeah, no, it is that. It literally is that. They just have zero tracking of this troll in the jungle. Here we go into the bottom lane. Xiaohu was hunting for a potential kill right there, but Jaculov and Battleland are ahead of this one, playing defensive, but it's across the board they are bleeding out.
Yeah, and again, it started with the mid lane. The fact that Xiaohu no longer really needs the assistance from Karsu, that he feels very powerful and very sure in the 1v1. Now it's starting to bleed over into the other lanes. It started with the top lane. Maybe next one is the bottom lane. I said it would be on the Bork power spike. That's now been completed, so immediately Luden's Echo on Zoe, Bork on Ashe, and you see that Karsu is already confident to start the Infernal. RNG just need to place their ducks in a row, and then they're going to start forcing plays.
It was Karsu flirty with the idea of soloing this Infernal Dragon, and now he has been spotted on the Spixel Brush ward right here. And also, while he can take it, it's a little bit risky, just with the wave advantage currently in the mid lane going to Rookie for recall timing from Xiaohu, and also at the same time, Nocturne waiting in the wings and currently in Fog of War. Top lane, yeah, this is the problem now, where Malphite just straight up wins this matchup. Unstoppable Force right there may have actually turned into a kill, another 30 seconds on that, but it's a sad time when Malphite gets ahead, because that kill means like an early Sunfire kit, means that you cannot die, and also means extra damage in these trades. People always forget about that in melee matchups, and it gives you kill pressure. So Malphite, the fact that he can do this in the 1v1 is frightening for Invictus.
And it's not just the Malphite. Again, it's still the Zoe. Look at how low health Rookie's tower is. We see this all the time with Zoe's in the mid lane. She's one of the best blind pickable champions, not only because of her kill threat and her CC that works very well in tandem with these kill-oriented junglers, but just her ability to 1v1 pressure mid towers down. When she's in the mid lane, the chance of mid lane being the first tower that falls exponentially increases, and that's ridiculous this early in the game.
The trap is being set. There it is. There's the sun flying through, but Carter here's to react. Instant perfect time. But now we'll take the trundle too. Goodbye, Xiaohu. You're down. A 2-for-1 special. 2 kills to Invictus.
And Invictus Gaming finally find the play that they've been hovering around for the last 5 minutes there. Xiaohu wasn't playing cautiously enough. They pulled the trigger and find it. Now what RNG needed to do is he just needed to wait for Uzi. Ming and Uzi make the late rotation. Of course they want to be here to just grab the wave and deny IG from just 3-man pushing mid. But ultimately, you've got your Bork, you have your arrow, your Zoe's massive. Just team up and start throwing spells.
Start throwing hand, throwing spells. I mean, that's really all that needs to happen right there. But the play finally happened from Invictus. It was like, okay, wait for the portal jump, line it up. As soon as she jumps in, I mean, she's got to come back. Let's go.
And it was about how confident Rookie was going to feel there. Before, he was kind of zoning out, maybe getting a feel for which side or which angles Xiaohu was going to play with. Felt that he had a good read on it. Like you said, sidestepped. You know exactly where she's going to port back, so it just lines up the stun perfectly, and you popped her like a balloon with Nocturne.
Nice stuff. And now they can repeat that play if they want to, but it feels like now RNG have really just, as soon as they knock down the tower and maybe even take this Inferno and transition it, we'll just be out of laning phase. So it'll be so much harder to make this happen now.
Yeah, they understand that it was just a small error. They weren't in position, they weren't grouped up, they knew that they were stronger right now. So, like you're saying, the confidence to just, okay, the Infernal Dragon, this is ours, you cannot fight us. Especially not with all of your cooldowns missing from Syndra and Nocturnal.
Yeah. I think Invictus Gaming honestly just recognized that, so they all went for a back at the same time. They didn't stagger, they were just like, let's go back to base, spend that gold that we did manage to get, hit the Luden's power spike, hit the Skirmishers and the Warriors power spike, and look towards the bottom lane as well. So good stuff. And now we're back in lane so we can defend our towers, because the main thing is that none of the outer turrets have been breached currently from Invictus. But RNG, if they maintain control over this game, and hey, if they actually just stay in laning phase for a bit longer, maybe Zoe's under attack, but next round's going to be Infernal. And they have complete control also being on red side over this Dragon Pit.
What they want to do is force bottom. It's because they have complete control over the river. They saw that Nocturne was heading top with the Hawk Shot, and now you can see both Xiaohu as well as Karsa beelining bottom. Arrow still available,
Instant
and
arrow
connects.
Onto Battleland. Here comes the little tiger from the mid lane. No bubble today will connect onto anybody, but again, as you said, opening up onto this bottom lane tower down to half. Rookie rotating, Ning doing the same, but it is slow to RNG, and they fire the first punch.
Oh, hold on, Xiaohu might be in trouble. Okay, he's gonna go all the way back around because there is a ward in that brush. Rookie very clearly was looking to see if he could find the stun, and then it would have been an insta-paranoia from Ning there. But slight misexecution from RNG, you know, the timing wasn't quite right there. And now IG had the ability to look for a counterplay.
Jackie dashing through the tower right here. Ming, he's got him in tow, but here comes the paranoia. Cutting vision right now. Waiting for a second. Instantly jumping onto Uzi. Flashes away from this one. Ning in deep. Ming turning it around. Puts a slow down and is ready for the devour if he wants it. He's got a flash as well. Here comes Xiaohu from the mid lane. Let me with the ultimate in tandem. Karsa gets the kill onto the enemy jungler, but here comes the turnaround once more. 4-man knockup coming from Let Me. Duke turns his one around onto Ming. Battleline looking to back away. And meanwhile, Malphite still in the back lines. And Xiaohu takes down the Braum in the bush. RNG running away from the rampant Aatrox. He has no gap closer any longer. Multi-kill to RNG.
And it looks like chaos across the screen, but Hart and Coach Kesman backstage know exactly that it's the type of controlled chaos that RNG thrive on. Rookie will run for his life, manages to get out, but Invictus Gaming are hemorrhaging right now. Multiple deaths, the tower falling down, the Infernal in the back pocket, and now complete control over the next one to be spawning. RNG strike early this game.
That initial salvo was huge, and it's just broken out of the game. I mean, bottom lane towers down, and multi-kills going over to him. We can see this one more time, and Ning, he saw it, but look at that instant exhaust.
And I want to say huge credit to Ming on the Tahm Kench. The fact that he denied the paranoia that long by using the brush to deny the vision, making sure that Uzi got to use his flash at the perfect moment, means that he's alive long enough to rejoin the back half of the fight. Yes, Let Me hits the huge knock-up stun, separates the fight, and then it's Invictus Gaming fighting on multiple fronts without health to do so, but Ming made sure that Uzi could get back into this fight to help the back half of RNG.
It's just, Ming is granted such an incredible support, and it's things like that we see constantly in the pressure situations, and it's just that you broke it down perfectly there, Frost.
I mean, the coolest part is that Ming and Ning used to be on the same team. They've come from Young Miracles, PDD's team down in the LSPL, and they were ADC and support combo, so to see them come this far, Ning also making a role swap into the jungle position just speaks to the depth of talent that the LPL has, which is why they will be the best region in 3 years' time. It's not to say that the other regions aren't growing, but the LPL is doing it so much faster.
They have the ability to do so. There's the counter punch coming in here from Invictus Gaming into that mid lane. Did a bit of damage there, but Uzi is in the top lane, and while the mid lane fizzles, he'll find himself another tower. Solo Gold again going over to him. 004, 220 farm, and this Ashe is getting gigantic. Wouldn't be surprised if we could actually hit 2 items on the next back. Karsa just pressing forward, he finds Ning, but the blue buff is already dead. This entire top side of the jungle, though, is theirs, and mid lane tower is on the menu.
Everything has just been controlled, and now it looks like it might be the Baron. I mean, the Observer wants it.
I'm feeling it.
I don't want to feel it, but RNG are pretty crazy right now, and I feel like they're feeling real hypey. They want to just throw this arrow at whatever shows up mid lane and just instantly pop it.
Look at how low this tower is. They can even zone away with Redemption. There you go, that's just going to fall. So all outer turrets down now to Royal, and that's going to be 5,000 gold over to them at 20 minutes.
And it just instantly ballooned in the last 3 minutes. So making their backs, hitting their 1 to 2 item power spikes, and then just having so much hard CC and pick potential. Zoe and Ashe around an open map where they have so much control to get around the Baron. So the game plan should be very clear from RNG. They don't want to play the side lanes. They want to group up, utilize their Malphite and their pick, and then just force Invictus Gaming to walk blind around this Baron pit or get it for free.
And still, the control is absolutely over RNG, to RNG I should say, because they have the initiation power from their top laner, from their AD carry. If they want to fight, they'll get a fight. Next round's going to be Infernal in 40 seconds from now, and it just feels like RNG are just going to take this one for free. And it's just going from bad to worse. I mean, the fact that we have back-to-back Infernals with composition like this, it's going all too perfectly. The stars are aligning for Royal.
This is why I felt that it was a bit ambitious for our analyst desk to think that Invictus Gaming without the Shy would somehow unseat the MSI Championship squad with Karsa and Let Me on RNG. I understand Duke has been integrated better into the roster, and he has had some high moments this series, but he's also had some very low moments, you know, being pretty much demolished, and the massive pillar that fell out for Invictus Gaming in game number 2 on that Mundo pick when Uzi just blasted him with Vayne.
Well, unfortunately, that's just the Mundo life right there. I'm not going to put any of that particularly on Duke, because like, you can be the best top laner in the world, but if you're in a Mundo versus Vayne matchup, like, it's just good luck. But yeah, you're right. Like, outside of that, it is just the fact that has generally just been collapsing. Please don't make this a triple Infernal.
But good news for IG fans, the fact that this went to, I know it was, the fact that this went to 3 games, and IG still have an opportunity to try to swing it back. Although I don't know, it's strange watching RNG. I just feel like once they have this type of lead, that they're just so devastating to close against. And like I said, we still have a ton of game left to play.
Yeah, they are the boulder in Indiana Jones. They will just keep going, and they will roll you over. There is no stopping. If you are Royal Never Give Up, they take a bottom lane tower off on an Inferno. Are you kidding me? They're just taking so much right now. And this, again, you said ballooning before, but it is continuing to balloon.
I mean, look at the item differences just between Zoe and Syndra alone. There's a reason why Invictus Gaming really need to pick and choose their moments that they step up, because, like I said, while there are less team fights that happen in this meta, the ones that do are so much more important due to Snowball.
Arrow connects onto the Braum. Battleland flashes over the pillar. Opens it up, but that is a big summoner down for Invictus Gaming, and Jackalev also burns the culling.
Make their last back. There's a window where IG can race over into the Baron pit, place down some maybe last minute vision, try to set up some sort of trap so they have a foot or a leg to walk back into this area. But otherwise, you've got BF Sword, Hurricane, and Bork ready for Uzi. You got your Banner of Commands up. You want to start placing those into side lanes and then just using Zoe and Ashe to play fish.
Yep, and Tankin still has his perfect timing as well, so he has so many ways to protect Uzi in this one. Second look at the gold totals once again. Uzi firmly ahead in that bottom lane. 1,500 gold over to him. Mid lane again, 1,000 in that lane. Jungle massively ahead. Top lane as well is a big difference. 2-0 and 2 Malphite. Like, it's just across the board, RNG are strong with double Infernal. 16% extra AP and AD. Another Infernal on the way. If they want to play slow, they can. They can play around the Elder. If they want to play fast, they can do that too. It feels like there is no weak point here from RNG, and Invictus Gaming will just have to find a creative way into this game, honestly. They'll just have to find a miracle pick onto like an Uzi or a Xiaohu.
But the fact is that they do have the pick potential, and they have the assassination potential. They also have the ability to play a side lane. You know, eventually Aatrox will get to this point where he can compete with the push, get forward, and better yet, he's got the Nocturne. So you could have a triangle formation from Invictus Gaming where you got someone forward in the mid lane and then have Nocturne bounce between one of your side lanes and try to find some sort of skirmish or hit and run type of fight until your champions start turning online.
And this is the thing though, RNG might just decide to gun it towards an objective like the Baron or the Inferno coming up. It's like, well, come at us, 5v5 us, let's go.
I feel like it's a tense situation as RNG know that they want to set this up but don't want to fumble right before the finish line.
Even over the blue buff, Karsa is dodging out the stun right there. He's going to start off the Sentinel. Hey, give me that. Rookie. He's going to tag it away and he's going to try and burst it down on his way back. There we go. And RNG will still push them back into the side of the jungle fast. On the finger, on the trigger finger right there with the shield Baolan, but again, the rotation to the top lane. RNG are here in place for the tower, and it was a blue buff for a tower trade, so how about that one in Invictus Gaming?
I mean, the reality is that IG just exited to the wrong side of the map. RNG did a good job herding them towards the mid lane, and then just got free access, so just IG dropping the ball in terms of their wave control in side lanes.
RNG are just ridiculous when they get rolling right here with the momentum. Oh, let me on the bottom side of mid, Rookie kiting down as well.
Ming's like, no, I am back. I need to have more control wards so we can actually control vision over the Baron and try to force it. So you see the backs come through of Uzi and Ming. They all buy control wards. He went from 1 to 3. Uzi himself even picked up a control ward. And now they'll start walking back, which is why IG are like, okay, if RNG aren't in position, we're just going to burn this. No, they're in position. Okay, let's figure something else out.
Yeah.
What's an issue is that Rookie is just so fragile into a side lane that there's no way. They can only play a 1-4. They can't play a 1-3-1, whereas RNG's composition can play a 1-3-1 and then also have the mobility to match Nocturne because they have Tahm Kench. So because of having Hawkshot, RNG's superior deep vision and their warding that they've acquired, IG, it just feels like they're trying to wiggle around, try to find the win condition on their composition, and they just can't quite get the proper setup or alignment there.
I mean, it's tough because, I mean, Jackie loves the Draven play, but it's actually RNG right here who are doing it all. It's just so difficult to do anything against them. And it's also the Malphite dream, is what I was trying to say, because he's picked himself up a Triforce, which means he even does damage on the Malphite right here as well. So he's feeling good right now.
That is the Malphite build. If you are a Malphite player, do not be the tank. Throw those ideas away. You are all about the Trinity Force.
It's basically, it just feels back to, remember when top lane Alistar was a thing because you could headbutt and auto attack after the headbutt? And it just meant that you could build the Triforce first and just be an absolute monster in the top lane. Now you can just do it as Malphite because it turns out they can't hit you when they're knocked up in the air, but you can hit them. So absolutely love this build that's coming through. RNG grouping up into the mid lane, and again, they have 2 ways to initiate. Arrow always by himself. The Trapper hasn't found the bubble right here, and Uzi choosing not to use the arrow because Let Me was a little ways off.
But they forced them again out of the lane, and now they have access or the inside track towards mid-tower. This is getting real dicey.
It is. Let Me's on the bottom side as well. He's in a fierce battle with this Raptor, however.
With the popcorn chicken back and forth. I thought he was going to flash ult.
And the winner was Uzi. Oh, Ming walks face first into a Malphite, but it's okay. No one else is there just now. Here comes the arrow. It's blocked out by Lan. Blocked out by Baolan. Again, another stun comes down. He's blocking all the CC, but he cannot be the unbreakable wall forever. RNG now gunning it down the middle lane, chipping away against his turret. The bubble comes through. Oh no! He's drowsy, has to jump away. Both summoners burnt from that one, and the tower is dead.
But the damage has been done. Like you're saying, the tower falls, and they continue to press forward. Banner up, and Syndra forced to go back to base.
Huge ultimate coming out for the Malphite. 1, 2, Duke is dead as well. Baolan running down to the bottom and just running for dear life. RNG blast open the front door.
They might not stop. Looks like they will eventually turn towards the Baron, but that was only 2 members up for Invictus Gaming. Excuse me, I'm sorry, Baolan. 3 members up for Invictus Gaming, and RNG immediately rushed towards the Baron. I feel like there was like the slow motion, like, do we just end the game now? Like, imagine how hypey you are in that moment. You just smashed 3 people with the Malphite ult.
I mean, yes, you could go for it, but then this is the new and improved RNG, the restraint, saying we can actually just go for the Baron. We could draw them towards us, and in tight spaces, that's where Xiaohu starts to shine.
You, Ning.
Ning, 1 shot, 1 opportunity. Baron comes through. He got him in! He finds the steal! Ning keeps Invictus Gaming in this game.
And it's only a single inhib tower, so they will do so much damage against RNG's momentum. That said, they immediately back. The pings go down for the Infernal. There's still the possibility of a triple Infernal, as well as the Elder on on the horizon, but like you're saying, Ning keep IG alive in this series.
Oh my god. I mean, maybe they should have actually tried to end the game because there was there's potential for the steal to happen. Comes down to the wire, ward over the wall, and Ning sees it.
And the thing that's so impressive about this is that Karsa was in the pit. If Karsa is in the pit, he gets the monster objectives. He proved that on an international stage multiple times, but Ning with the hero play and performance.
I remember MLXG at the start of the day was just like, all Barons, all smites all belong to me. It's like, should have put me in. For that one moment, you know, I wouldn't have missed that smite, man. Oh, that's going to be triple Infernal, though, over to RNG. Still, a win condition will be the Infernal, the Elder Dragon coming up for the Infernal Dragons to boost those down the line. That will be an extra 24% currently, extra AD and AP on the scaling, and then even more so, an extra 50% after the Elder Dragon. But Invictus Gaming, they have this time where they can start to stymie, to stop, to slow down the aggression, the steamroller that is coming out from RNG.
I mean, we say that, but RNG are pressing forward. They've got the banded up cannon. They still got the ability to spell fling and throw out all of this poke, and now they're teleporting down there. They want to force this.
Well, Malphite's got the ultimate, and the tower's already dead. They're still sieging. RNG don't care about this one whatsoever. Bubble coming through. But any one of these CC lands onto a key target, and they are dead. If you group up, Letme is going to pull the trigger. Double inhibs down now, and RNG got what they came for. They back away, and the wave was set up by Malphite, so most likely they're just going to rotate towards this one.
They just need to shove it in because they have the super minions, and then like you're saying, walking back towards the top lane, everything's been set up. This is what RNG, their bread and butter, and why they were so successful. People say that 2016 was the era of RNG, the rise of Royal Never Give Up, and it started with their wave control. They are so good at collapsing and funneling, smothering bases with all three lanes pressing at the same time, and you just really saw an action there.
Let me steal the ultimate, no flash, but still multiple engage opportunities. The front line has to be perfect, the formation has to be strong here from Invictus Gaming, while also keeping their objectives alive, and they are dying so quickly. Here comes the culling, Jackalope by himself. Letme on the wrong side to actually initiate on this one, but the tower is dead. Again, trying to zone away. Poking abilities coming through from Invictus Gaming. Sleepy. Battleline will take all of this damage out from Xiaohu as he jumps forward. Nice stun comes down. This is the chance. Knockup doesn't quite land. The Christmas tree just inches away from hitting Xiaohu.
But all of the inhib towers now denied from Invictus Gaming. Their Baron just about to fall off. They didn't get to use it offensively at all. And RNG with a 10k gold lead closing it.
All right, we have a reprieve. We have a respite for now. One inhib remaining, but it's this Elder Dragon that's on the horizon for us.
I feel like this is 300. The Spartans now in Invictus Gaming are in the base. They've got the shields put up.
Hold
like,
the line.
This is where we hold them.
It's going to be tough, but there's a possibility because they have the snipe, they have the pick, even within this team fight. So if they can nuke down the two big damage threats, and if Duke gets in there as well, remember game one, he found himself a Quadra. Like, this guy is unleashed. Yes, he's 0-3, but he has a lot of damage right now, so there's the potential.
I would also just like to see RNG test their luck and see if they can break the game or end it between waiting out these long monster objective timers. It feels like so many teams find themselves in this situation where, okay, Elder's going to be coming up soon, let's just sit back and wait for the timer. Like, don't do that. You're at a point in this game right now where if you just absolutely wiped, the most you would lose is maybe 2 towers because of how deep you are, especially if you're flooding in all of the lanes. Like, you won't lose the Elder, you're not going to lose the Baron, so you might as well try. Maybe you give away some bounties or some kill gold, but it's so evenly spread that the chances of that are very thin. It's, you know, a high reward versus medium risk type of play to force here.
Pushing up the top lane, minion wave coming in, no Baron. And IG, can they defend this inhibitor? That's what they're going to try, but it's already being poked away from. And at this point, it looks like it's going to be conceded. Now, the minion wave's already there. They have the promoted minion, 1 tap away, and Uzi's even got the Guardian Angel, so they can't even jump on top of him. Mid lane inhibitor has just respawned. So, it's playing a bit of whack-a-mole right here, RNG. They have another inhib to follow, but really they are just killing time, waiting for a monster objective to spawn. So they don't need to fully commit.
I kind of want them to fully commit.
I mean, yeah, it would be hype, but they don't need to right now.
They absolutely don't need to now that Elder is 2 minutes out, but they have a massive window where they could and
yeah,
not be punished for it at all. And they just win the game if it goes right.
Oh, but it's actually Invictus Gaming who jump in right here. Duke goes down for the count once more, but everyone is split currently. Rookie finds Xiaohu and RNG on the retreat. So there's one around him. Oh, Letme! 4-man ultimate destroys the entirety of Invictus Gaming. Triple kill instantly for Uzi, and RNG rush towards the Nexus.
And Let Me just absolutely smashes Invictus Gaming. Put that one in the highlight reel because he got 3 this game.
The monarchy remains unyielding and unbroken. You will kneel before Royal.
Sitting in their palace in Beijing, the MSI Championship squad remains undefeated and unbroken. A single stumble this split in their first away arena game, the curse of the LPL. JD Gaming took them down, but otherwise, RNG have just been on forward momentum, all firing cylinders, and looking at the Championship Cup. Uzi doesn't just want one LPL title, he wants them all. He doesn't just want MSI, he wants Rift Rivals. And he doesn't just want that, he wants the triple back-to-back crown.
The Mad King's reign will continue. And RNG, they take this bow in front of their home arena and the crowd, the roar of Beijing. Royal never give up, will never yield.
They tried the gold funneling strat in game number 1, and while Uzi's numbers on the CS were impressive, his damage was not. In game number 2 and game number 3, they went back to basics, back to the tried and true style, and just frankly schooled IG in multiple positions. Xiaohu especially stepping up massively this game on the likes of the Zoe.
I'll be honest, Frosk, after that first game, it felt like they were trying something maybe a little bit new, tried this gold funnel, and they were like, okay. And then they stood up off of their throne, and then they just completely destroyed the contender. They were walking up, and it wasn't even close, really, in his following 2 games. RNG, the difference between them and Invictus is monumental. And these are 2 of the strongest teams in the LPL. It just means there is so much of a difference between RNG and the rest of the league.
The difference between RNG and the world is massive. This isn't just about the LPL anymore.
No, it is not. Not at all. And boy, do they look strong heading into Rift Rivals in just a week from now. What a dominating performance out from Royal. But at the same time, they also managed to get triple infernals. They had a run at you snowball composition, and the stars did the line, but they earned it. They absolutely did at every step of the way.
I hope Let Me gets MVP,
though. How can he not get MVP? Are you kidding me? I'm still reeling from that Malphite ultimate.
Back-to-back, unstoppable force, just smashing it. When people talk about Royal, they always have to talk about Uzi.
Yeah.
Karsa,
Xiaohu.
MLXG, Xiaohu, Ming now getting a mention. Poor little Let Me. He's just been chugging along, proving that he is a world-class top laner, and no one knows his name.
And the other thing for us is, even when Zatai came into the league as well, even he started to outshine it, because it's Zatai, you know, into the top lane. Let Me has always just been chugging along in the top lane, but he really has started to make a name for himself, and it's going to be based on those montage plays right there. Incredible stuff out from them.
Yep, super exciting. I'm just glad to say that, hey guys, I tipped RNG. What did the desk do?
Yep, same. Feels good, man. We destroyed PP. Get dunked, cat. Anyway, we're going to send it over to the Ants desk to take a look at that game and close out the day.
Well, first, the Rung was able to pick up Malphite and destroy everyone, and Pulse, come on, it's a cat. The kid's 3 months old and did correctly predict that RNG would win game 2. The only person on this desk that predicted that correctly is my analyst over here, Clement Chu. Raz, unfortunately, why can't you predict well? Why can't you analyze the way Clement analyzes?
You predicted the same damn thing!
I am the host of today's LPL broadcast. I am indifferent and not biased, unlike Raz. So, Raz, how does it feel to be wrong?
Doesn't feel good. I'm just saying, the best thing about it is that I thought that everyone would forget. And the only thing ingrained in their memory is just a Malphite ult every single damn time. But it didn't work.
Let's actually bring it back to the start of this match. Because the Malphite matches, the Malphite ultimates were beautiful to watch. It was an interesting pick that we saw. But the start of the game, already there was disaster for Invictus Gaming. Ning decided that he was going to carry on the trend of moving into the jungle and trying to take certain camps that he shouldn't. And was made paid for it very early into the match.
It's really terrible to say this, but Ning really has been underperforming, and he has been the major weakness of IG for a long time. It's his coordination with Rookie. Individually, they're great players. When they work together, they just don't seem to get it. They're never in sync. They're always in the wrong place. And the first blood and the double buffs going over to Zoe, that's just like... that just starts to snowball the wrong way.
Which is so weird, Raz, because that's night and day. Like, game 1... that's an MVP performance, locking down Uzi, making the game-winning plays with Rookie playing Galio, and then games 2 and 3, we just see him not have the best performances to start the matches.
It's just for me, it's a communication drop-off, because if it was a supported play going in for the 1v1, we had a bit of a debate who would be able to win out in the 1v1, but ultimately he got the jump on him and then realized he had zero support.
He got
it was
the
Zoe
wrong
coming.
way.
Exactly. Zoe's coming in and you're like, wait a second, why did I even do this to begin with? So ultimately, you're right. It started the ball rolling in the opposite direction. RNG was way better off. Zoe was going to be able to take the lane suddenly versus Syndra. It was a rough start for Invictus Gaming.
It definitely was a rough start for IG. They fought back in the early parts of the mid game, were actually able to equalize against RNG, but then a chaotic fight bottom. Again, Ning used the ultimate for a very short range, knocked an ultimate, the run gets into the bottom lane, and disaster strikes.
It's just so beautiful to see the Rang come in, because mostly the Let Me going towards Malphite every single damn time he finds himself going up against the Aatrox. He's been coming in super sick for RNG lately.
Yeah, and I was actually quite surprised that Invictus Gaming decided to follow through with the teleport right here, because this is a very bad position for them. He gets the triple man knockup, and Aatrox just gets kited to death in terms of the bot line, back line. There's nothing he can do right there, and I honestly felt that IG should have backed off after the initial fight. They actually forced themselves into a bad position by the channel from Duke in the top lane.
And from there, they're able to pick up enough of a gold lead. I mean, Malphite was able to stabilize the lane against Aatrox, and then it was just ultimate after ultimate after ultimate, and Malphite just had a highlight reel from then onwards.
We have to note about this. This is actually a very planned decision from RNG to keep Aatrox out of the entire team fight. Like, Malphite was able to get so big because there was no pressure in the lane. Like, he constantly was camped over and over, and IG's composition where they were trying to pick people off never worked because they were always running 5v5 into RNG. They never got the split pushing from the Aatrox. Good read by Karsa.
And this is one of the few times that we have a chance to talk about Let Me. Of course, Karsa, you mentioned, had a great game as well. Let Me has had a phenomenal start to the split. And I felt like his responses to Aatrox as a pick has been excellent. Of course, I already mentioned the Malphite plays that he's been able to come through with, but also there's one pick with Shen where he was going up against BLG, had the Thornmail, was absolutely out trading him in side lanes. So we just get to have these plays come in time and again, where Let Me is showcased to be an excellent team fighter, man of the match. He deserved it here today.
What a handsome man at that as well. Let Me with the MVP
Is that a gang sign?
What? No, it is. You don't even come from a ghetto.
What?
No, that's not a gang sign. That's not a gang sign.
Both of you, calm down. He's tranquil, okay?
Yeah, that's good.
As a forest.
That's true. He's burying people. Of course he's tranquil. It's like, on you go.
Oh my goodness.
He's the Undertaker.
I need to get these two idiots off my desk as soon as possible. What the heck is going on? We went from complimenting to Let Me to what Raz, I'm done with you.
I'm just saying.
I'm off this broadcast tomorrow, thank goodness.
That he had an excellent performance. The man was pretty gangster here today. Alright. So really strong play from him, and I want to see him to be able to buff him up going forward, because RNG as a team, every single time we want to be able to push them and call them a superstar lineup, because they brought in Karsa from the LMS, they had the mid lane, Shahu's been performing excellently, but most of the time, they stop at the top lane, because no one really gives Let Me the due respect that he is starting to showcase that he's earned. So I would love to see Let Me continue on with this performance, because RNG is showcasing that they can do very well in lane, and that they can outperform in team fights.
He had a fantastic performance at MSI as well. I mean, even during their mic checks, you can see a couple of very crucial highlight plays from his Shen, great Shadow Dash flashes. You were talking about it earlier, and the fact that now he has these unorthodox picks like the Malphite, showcasing his ability top lane. However, RNG as a whole just looked holistically better in Game 2 and 3. I know, Clement, you said that Game 2 they should have lost. Do you think that this was a match that definitely was in RNG's court?
This one they definitely should have won. I think there's they had a great early game plan. Like Flash Wolves back in the LMS were the premier Ashe team, just because it gave Karsa so much advantage in terms of the jungle. If you think of that pickoff they did onto Rookie, it was from a hawk shot to start it off. It's so hard to prevent these things from happening, and they shut down the Aatrox as well, which I think is a huge point if you think about Let Me and the LPL in general. We've always had this weakness in the top lane, but Let Me has shown that a blue-collar Chinese top laner can shut down Korean split pushers. That has never really happened in the history of LPL, and it's starting to show now. So I think this is in terms of the timeline we're living in, it's an incredibly remarkable point we have to pay attention to.
Because even moving into MSI, I think FLICKR mentioned it during the cast itself, there was questions. Who's going to MSI of RNG? Is it going to be Tatai and Let Me that get to share the spotlight, or is it going to be cast as well as LMXG? And a few people even surprised when they saw that it was Let Me that was going over to Tatai. A lot of people said, okay, Tatai is going to be the starting roster, then it's between Let Me and maybe Casa, or Let Me and maybe LMXG who gets it. No, it's Let Me who's going to be starting. Starts the day, fantastic player, great to see. And we got to see also Casa play different styles too. RNG experimenting with gold funneling as well. Didn't work out for them in game number 1. But Uzi played in 3 different lanes today.
Yep.
He started in the mid lane, went to the top lane in game 2, and then went to the bottom lane finally in game number 3.
It's just the flexibility of knowing he just needs to get out of lanes proper. Ashe is a phenomenal matchup versus Lucian until, of course, Lucian has the ability to go for those all-in trades. So he found himself a safety in the bottom lane. He went to the bottom lane this time. When he was going the Vayne pick, obviously the top lane was the most safe approach for him. So I just love the fact that RNG as a team seems very fluid in their approach and pick and back.
I will say that even with all the adaptation, I think a lot of those adaptations actually put themselves into a lot of danger. What they're saying by sticking to the ADC, I think what they're saying is that we are the best teamfight team. We're going to play this teamfight style with the marksman, and we're not going to stray from our strengths.
Yes.
The early part stuff, it's actually kind of doubtful. But the late game, the past the 35 minutes, I think they're spot on where they're strong at.
Invictus game is still looking a little bit shaky as well. We saw some nerves coming out from Jakulov, especially in that second match when he picked up the Drafe and looked fantastic in game 1, but fell through there. And we talked about Ning as well as rookie Synergy as well. They're going to be moving into Rift Rivals next week. So curious to see how they perform there, because now they're still 5-1. Because we can take a look at the standings of the LPL at the moment, and in that Eastern Conference, there is a 3-way tie at the moment. 5-1, 5-1, 5-1. RNG sits on top. JD second with IG third. This should be based on maps.
Yeah, it is, but I need to see who has the better Yasuo of these 3 teams. Because you have a great Yasuo in Rookie, great Yasuo in Abel, and then today we saw another great Yasuo in Yagao. So, you know, if it comes down to it, I'm not going to call it the 3 Musketeers, I'm going to call it the 3 Ronins.
Oh, there we go. I like that. I'm stealing it from you.
All right.
Sure. I just love the fact that the Eastern Conference still found the strength at the top side, even while they lost Rogue Warriors to the West. So Rogue Warriors move on to the West, but it seems like JD has just found some newfound strength this split.
Well, they were able to find some strength, but they've still been going a bit wishy-washy with their 2-1 ties.
They have a lot of
2-1, 3-game series all the
They
time.
did have a 2-0 today.
Until today, able to pick up their 2-0. But we take a look at the final matches for Week 3, which will be taking place tomorrow. There's 3 games coming your way. OMG take on FBX, Snake take on TOP, and then our final 2 Rift Rivals representatives of EDG and Rogue Warriors do battle. Rogue Warriors looking to be the final undefeated team in the LPL if they can take down EDG.
And remember, there are no Monday games. This is going to be our send-off to Rift Rivals.
Yes,
so
it is.
having our last match be Rogue Warriors versus EDG, our Rift Rivals representative, is going to be an excellent setting.
Yep, going down to the Western Conference, and of course we're going to see the 2 top ADCs. Who is the second best behind Uzi? Is it going to be Aibu on your left or SMLZ on your right?
I already know who you're going on. I've seen it every time you've on the desk.
You voted the same way I did.
That's true. That's true. SMLC's been having a great split so far. Like I can't.
Did you see his Lucian? That was
Excellent.
amazing.
Did you see both their Lucians? My God, they both had great Lucian plays so far.
Yeah,
That's why it feels
Mako
like
was 60% of the first one.
Sunday
true.
will be an excellent showing of who's the better one. Even though iBoy's stats haven't been lining up and SMLZ's been like overshooting every time because he's the one who's willing to go towards Heimerdinger and all that and have some excellent performances there. So it's going to be a good way to see if iBoy is really up to snuff.
It's going to be a fun matchup tomorrow, and they're the final 2 Rift Rivals representatives from the LPL. We watched the other 2 of RNG and IG play today. That's taking place next week, the 5th to the 8th of July in Dalian Sports Center. You can still buy tickets to Rift Rivals if you want to come and watch all the action here in China. It's at wesia.com. That's going to be a fantastic tournament now. The LPL looks very strong going into this. I know the LCK as well as the LMS have been stepping up recently, and it's going to be tough competition for every single region going to Dalian for that tournament.
Yeah, it's really surprising, but the LPL is actually the only region that's remained the same 4 teams at the top. If you look at the LCK, only FLICKR have actually maintained their position in the top 4. The rest of them have all dropped off, and the same thing with the starting LMS split as well. We don't see the same teams at Rift Rivals really representing the best of their region currently so far. So I think that makes it additional pressure on the LPL to perform.
Yeah, I wonder about the LMS teams, just because their split's only just begun. So a lot of it comes down to, are they prepared? I know Flash Trolls, I never want to ask that question anymore because it always feels like they are prepared.
Yes.
Don't question them. So I think that's going to be fun. I want to see how the rest of the teams come through.
It's going to be great to watch. That takes place next week, but we still have more LPL action tomorrow, as we talked about earlier. That's going to start at 2 p.m. China Standard Time. But that's all from us here tonight. So the last thing we have to do is to say thank you to Raz, Clement, Rusty from the analyst desk earlier, as well as our two casters, Pulse, as well as Frosker. And I'll leave you with this. Albert Einstein once said, insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over again, but when you tell Twitch chat a compliment, all they do is spam lol. Good night.